Testing. Are you guys seeing the stream? It seems to be working. Hi everyone.
Yep.
Welcome to the stream. Thank you.
Oh dear.
Here we go. Everything's fine. Everything's working. Okay, so welcome everyone. My name is Chris. I'm the Primogen, and we are here to tell a Changeling story. And we'll start with the presentations. Person up to the left is Kitsu.
Hi. My name is Kitsu. I guess it's not really. I am called Kitsu. I'm so good at presentations, so I'm going first. But yeah, hi. I'm very happy to be here. Yeah.
Who are you playing? You're playing.
I'll be playing a Tide.
Mm-hmm.
An elemental changeling.
Perfect. And then we'll go to the right. Jonas.
My name is Adam, and I'll be playing Jonas, a Darkling. Also very excited and a bit nervous over it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. We'll go to Lars.
Hi, I am Toring. I am playing Lars. He is a wizened.
Perfect. Nate.
I am Harry. I will be playing Nate. He is a Ferris.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Nova down there.
Hi, I'm Megan. I'll be playing Nova, and she's a beast.
She's a beast. And
Yeah.
last but definitely not least, we got Silas.
Hey everyone, my name is Trev, and I'm going to be playing Silas the Ogre.
Perfect. And, well, this is the first game, so a little bit of a background. This is taking place in it's going to be taking place in a city called Littlebrook, northern Minnesota. You will be introduced to it along the way, but don't try to find it, because it doesn't actually exist. And one little thing before we get started, and that is we have some Kickstarters running right now for the Onyx Path, and we've first up got the Scarred Lands Creature Collection for 5th edition. And I've been told it's a hardcover, got some full color collections of creatures and critters for 5th edition, and it's going to be advertised in the stream chat. And likewise, we also have Deviant the Renegades, which I've been told is essentially the Fly, Cronenberg's Fly, meets, let's see, what was it? Frankenstein's Monster meets Wolverine. So check that out. And there will be some advertisement in the stream. So without further ado, let's tell a storytelling game of beautiful madness. So, let me see here. Nova, Tide, Lars, Jonas, and Nate. You don't know how long you've been running. It could be days, it could be weeks. All you know is that you've been running for your life. And you don't remember the path you're on right now. Some of you came to Arcadia on a gravel road. Some of you were dragged here. Some of you stumbled into it. But now it's almost as if this forest, this hedge is trying to keep you back. You managed to escape the notice of your keepers even. But now it seems like nature itself is trying to keep you back. There are trees with long limb-like branches reaching out towards you. And they're trying to scrape away, they're trying to catch you. You feel your clothes getting snagged. You feel them whip against your face. There's thorns. You get these thin, small cuts across your body. You're bleeding, but you can't stop running because the alternative is just much, much worse. The brambles are all over you, and even as you run, the stinging pain just reminds you of who you were, reminds you of where you're going. You're going home. You're going back to Littlebrook. Some of you ran together, some of you ran alone. But as you look around each other, as you look around yourself, you realize that there's others. And maybe at first you think someone's coming to get you, but then you realize, just like you, they're humans, or they were humans. And now, just like you, they're running home. And as you run, as you scamper and climb and throw yourself through this forest, the hedge, it keeps growing thicker. It's you have to like break the branches apart. There's no signs of life. There's no signs of animals or birds or anything like that. And Nova, suddenly you have feet, actual feet. You're running instead of fluttering through the forest. You have fingers. You can't even remember the last time you could grab yourself, or grab something even. You've grown without realizing, and you're a person again. And we seem to have lost someone from the stream. You're your own person, yours. You're not chained anymore. You're not forced to be an extra in someone else's story. We seem to have lost Touring. Nate, yeah, but he'll be back. Nate, your flesh is moving. It's slow and it's crackling, and every turn of your joint is a searing pain through your body. You've been still for so long, and the crystals grind against each other as you feel blood and flesh in your body that you haven't felt for so long. And the ache of keeping the same pose for months at a time is still fresh in your memory. You have so much power built up. You have so much anger and frustration and so much determination. And you've been waiting for this opportunity. You've been waiting for it, but now it's here. Tide, you're free. You're free from the prison you had to endure for so long. You're free to make your own way. You're free to tear down this woods. The water is dripping off you, some of it turning into flakes of ice. You can rage, finally. You're not a fountain. You're not a gardener. You're free. You're a flood. And a human. And you remember suddenly why you went here. You remember why you came to Arcadia. And you have so much power inside of you, and you're finally able to let it loose. And Jonas, you're not sure if this is real or not, but it feels real. Somewhere in your mind, you know that this is different. You know that this wasn't planned ahead. This wasn't scripted. Every step you take, no matter how much it hurts, because it hurts, you're stepping on these thorns. They're piercing your skin. But this is a step in the direction of your own choosing. And those around you, maybe one of them is the beautiful face. You don't know. Maybe one of them will swoop down and save you when you get into danger. Are you in danger right now? You don't know. You can't tell. And Lars, he's not lost anymore. Well, fortunately, at least he's lost to the stream at the moment. We'll actually see if he comes back. But
He'll be back. He just lost internet, so we'll try
I
to get
see.
him.
It's very inconvenient, but that's okay. Unfortunately, we will probably not be seen as well as we should be seen, but the story can still continue. The five of you are running together. You see each other, and maybe you should communicate. But right now, in each other's eyes, you see this desire for freedom, this desire to get out of here. And I want everyone to roll a Dex Athletics roll, please. No death saving throw. That's a different kind of game.
Okay.
Dexterity Athletics.
One success.
One success for Nate.
One success.
One success for Nova. And Adam, being a darkling, flickers in and out every now and then. But that's fine. We're not quite sure where he is.
So what's considered a success?
6 and above. And if you roll a 10, that's a success, and you get to re-roll it.
3 successes.
3 successes for Tide. Jonas?
Successes?
Yes. How many successes? Jonas, how many successes from you?
Oh, I think we're having some more tech problems.
Do you hear me?
Hear you
Yeah,
now.
hear you now.
3 successes. Perfect. Thank you. And what happens is that you're running and suddenly the ground isn't there anymore. And this isn't like you were running from, like there was a steep slope. It's just not there. Luckily for both Tide and for Jonas, you manage to stop yourself at the last moment. You grab onto a vine or a root, and you just stop yourself from falling. But both Nova and Nate, you stumble and you fall into a river. And as you hit the surface, it's not the water you'd expect it to be. It's a river of broken glass.
Oh no.
And you just cut this glass. You realize immediately that you should not be having your mouth open. And you save yourself from some pretty serious damage. But you are quickly being swept away in this river of many colored shards of glass. It's like someone ground down bottles into these little pieces, little pebbles of glass. What do you do, Tide and Jonas? You're seeing these two being swept away.
I try to run towards them and grab just anything that's sticking up.
There is Nova's arm is reaching out for you. I'd like you to roll a strength plus athletics roll, please. And Nova, you can roll the same.
Strength and athletics.
6 or above or 8 or above, who is a success?
6 and above is a success. So that's one success for Nova.
Can I run as well too? But I'll essentially.
Absolutely, you're going for Nate, or rather
Yeah.
Okay, roll strength and athletics. Oh, it's a loud river.
Oh no, that'll be 0 successes for me.
That's fine. That's fine. Hopefully, Tide will roll better. You can always use a willpower to. Let me see.
No one fell. Let me see this one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. 3 successes. One of them is a 10.
So you get to roll another d10, and if that's a success, you can add it.
No, it's a 5.
That's a 5. Jonas, how many successes did you get? Sorry, you. 3. Okay, thank you. We're having some technical issues here, but that's fine. 3 successes together with another one from Nova means that both Tide and Jonas, you managed to catch on to these 2 other strangers. The only thing you have in common is the fact that you're running, and you pull them out of this river. And it's a tough contest because the stream is so much stronger than it should be, and the sound is deafening. But finally you pluck them out and you see these small cuts. It's not enough to debilitate, but it stings all over your bodies.
Are you all right? We must keep going.
Thank you. This is no. We have to keep going. This is fine. This is fine.
Yeah, there's no time.
I'll
Run.
just run.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take off.
Run.
For a second there, Jonas, what did Nova see when you pulled her out?
Blank. And there is no mouth moving, no eyes, anything. But you still hear a voice speaking.
It's like a perfectly blank face. And Nova, what did Jonas see when he pulled you out?
Large red, either eyes or glasses, depending on what it looks like. White hair, and then you get a little bit of antenna in the back when you pull her up. She keeps them back.
Yeah, you're somewhere in between human and your fey nature right now. Not entirely mean, not yet, but you're getting there. Tide, what did Nate see when you pulled him out?
Like this person is not. It's really tall. Has seems to have like a wet hair that looks kind of like a waterfall falling down one side. It's a bit all over the place right now, I assume, because we were running. There's some thorns
definitely
stuck in there. Otherwise, blue eyes, and just kind of looks a little bit frosty on the cheeks, to the touch, also very cold. and just tries to pull you up. Surprisingly strong,
Yeah,
though.
definitely. There's a lot of power in there. And Nate, what does Tide see when she pulls you out? Or maybe they pull you out, rather.
It would be a so I'd look decently humanoid in shape,
Mm-hmm.
but from the waist up, I'm made of this crystalline structure, and
Mm-hmm.
then from the waist down, it's almost like a solid gold Hellenistic style statue,
Oof.
where I'm halfway through being changed from one type of statue to another.
Yeah. So it's a strong contrast there.
Yes.
And you start running again, all four of you. Lars presumably coming after. He stumbled and hurt his foot, but he's keeping up regardless. And as you do this, we shift focus and we go to the streets where Mother lives. And Silas, you've never seen Mother this mad before. You've never seen her this livid, and you've seen her mad. Her orders were clear. Get them back. And you don't know who these children were, but you've learned not to ask stupid questions. You and your two brothers, you set out on your steeds, your bikes, each in your own direction, and the cards and the spokes smatter as you head down the street. And we're getting towing back. You head down the street, down the forest path, into the hedge. What do you do? How are you going to find these runaway kids?
Lads, Barnabas, look for them right now.
They nod and just...
I start to panic a little bit. I have seen Mother angry, but this is beyond anything. This is this many children escaping whatever it is she wants. She was not at the house with us.
No.
If they had lived with us, there'd be a different matter. But now, no, someone has let them go, and now it is on to us to look for them.
You head out into the forest. Yeah.
As I listen to the others behind me, my two brothers trying to track them down, I decide that if I want something done right, I have to do it myself. I start investigating the area, slowly, doggedly looking for tracks, looking for blood.
Yeah. And it doesn't take long for you. Welcome back, Touring. It doesn't take long for you to find tracks. These are no trained escapees. You spot the usual signs: bramble thorns with spots of blood on them, the occasional torn piece of fabric, and you believe you see what looks like a gossamer wing stuck to a branch of a tree, or at least half of it torn and shredded. Looks like it belonged to a moth. Shouldn't be too hard to track these refugees down.
I pick up the wing and laugh. Among everything, among all the bits and pieces they've left behind, this is certainly going to be the one.
Okay. You cut
I
off...
bellow to the air of Arcadia. How fast do you think you can run?
The five of you hear this booming, loud, monstrous voice. How fast do you think you can run? And it's just echoing through the woods. And you realize someone figured out you've run away. And they're coming after you. What do you do?
Faster than you, asshole.
Save your breath for running.
Jonas just says nothing, just picks up his pace and just try to run away. He splits a bit from the group, not too much, but just a little bit, not to be center of action if that would if that would occur.
You keep running. Lars, how are you doing? You stumbled a bit before.
I climb to my feet and follow the strangers.
Yeah. You see how two of the strangers fell into this river of broken glass, and they're out now. They were saved by the two others, but they have all these small cuts across their bodies, and they look pretty ragged. When they look at you, Lars, what do they see? How do you look?
When you guys would look at Lars, you would see someone who is very short, very thin, really long, slender fingers. They almost look like they have just too many knuckles. But for the most part, he looks like a person who could be in his late 20s, early 30s. It's kind of hard to tell. He's got features that would fit on someone younger, or also some features that look like they belong on someone much, much older.
You take this in, and you realize again that, yes, all of you, the 5 of you, you're human, or you used to be human. You see the features. And with this sudden but necessary alliance, you run along the stream until you reach a stone bridge. You know, the kind of half moon shaped or half circle shaped. It's a simple stone bridge, and it goes across the river.
No time to stop.
I run across this. Yeah, just run across it.
Yeah, you're running across it.
What is under the bridge, by the way? Is it the stained glass?
It's the same glass. It's broken glass, and it's crashing against the stone. Oh, crashing against the wooden stone. That's the foundation. But maybe, are you looking for something in specific?
No.
Okay.
I just look in passing what's under the
Okay,
bridge.
okay.
If it's the same.
Yeah. It's actually, when you look at the other side of the bridge, you realize that it's not glass anymore. It's water flowing.
Oh.
But you don't really have time to stop and watch it as you keep hurrying on. And you got another couple of yards of this thick, dense forestry when suddenly you come upon this green wall. And some of you recognize it. It's a hedge. And it's not just a hedge, it's a hedge maze. You see the vaulted entrance to it, not too far away from where you came out of the woods. And it stretches from one end of the horizon to the other.
Head first, going right through.
Yeah.
I want to take I stop for 1 second, see if I can just orient myself. If there's any sort of clue or anything that would say go this way, not that way.
Behind you is the forest. And even as you watch, the brambles and the vines and the branches just kind of weave together. Some of them actually look like they're stretching out towards you. But they can't reach you here. But there is nothing to the left and nothing to the right. Just this short stretch of open ground. The wall of green, probably evergreen. And behind you, the forest.
Then I just follow who's ahead of me.
Yeah.
I'm up next to Nova and just do you know what is this? What is this?
I don't know what this is, but we'll just go. We can't go back, so we'll just go forward.
Ask questions later. Run now.
I'll keep
Agreed.
Yeah.
Can I turn around and see if we're being followed? If I can see anyone?
Absolutely. And as you turn around, Silas, I'm going to go back to you now. Your steed is getting restless. It's hungry right now. It's kind of troublesome to steer down this forest path, but you've grown used to it over the years. How do you treat it? What do you do to make it calm down?
Calm down.
Yeah.
When I'm on my bike, when the bike wants to hunt, I don't have to calm it down at all. If anything, I stand. I get up on the pedals. And my chrome bike, I tell, faster! We're getting them!
Yeah.
Let's get them!
And that's the magic word, faster. It just roars into motion, and you just speed down the forest at this breakneck pace. You It's almost driving itself. It turns sharp corners. You hit a rock and you go flying, and you fly much, much further than you would actually do if it was a normal bike. But this is not a normal bike. Your dragon loves to take it to the air, and as you soar through, the woods actually part for you for a while. But then suddenly you realize the hedge might not actually realize that you're trying to capture someone. It's trying to stop you from getting through. It's just closing up in front of you. What do you do?
Never trust a rose bush to do an ogre's job. Punch right through it. Just go through it. Ignore the pain.
Yeah. You punch through it. You've been through much, much worse. All the vines and the leaves just scatter. You break through it. Some of the thorns get stuck in your thick hide. You don't care. And you just barrel through. You see the river of glass. You've got enough air. You cross it, no problem. And as you come out to the other side, Tide, you spot... What do you see? Silas, what do they see?
They see a giant purple dragon in the air. Its scales dark and glistening. It's some kind of light overhead. And then they can see a giant ogre, a mountain of brown, of brown meat with a great gut and huge arms, white paint across its features, especially its face and arms, leap from the ogre and come crashing down to the earth.
What do
like
you do?
a giant living cannonball heading straight towards them.
Yeah.
Do I get some kind of reaction to that?
Absolutely. You're seeing this coming flying towards you. Do you stand or do you run into the hedge maze?
I have a question before
Yes.
I say what I'll do. You
sure.
said when I turn around, I see water. Is that correct?
You saw water by the river, but that's not where you are right now. It's close, but it's not where you're standing.
Okay. I get really like, let me see, because I'm not okay. Obviously, when I see this mass of a creature, first like the dragon, and then the person, like I guess it looks like a person,
Mm-hmm.
jump down and like lands to just crash. For a moment, I look around and I'm like, water, and then realize it's like far away.
Mm-hmm.
So I get this moment of oh, and then just go like run.
You run into the hedge.
Whoever's not through the hedge.
Yeah. You all head in. Silas, I
Okay,
presume you go chasing right after.
Lars is gonna
Uh-huh.
push everybody in front of him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's going to. I'm assuming there's brambles on this hedge.
Oh, yep, there certainly are.
Okay. He's gonna cut his thumb
Mm-hmm.
on one of the brambles, and he's gonna push it into one of his footprints
Mm-hmm.
before he grabs some dirt and sprinkles it over his footprint. And I want to activate Never Tread.
And what does that do?
Never Tread. Let me pull it up here. Changeling stops to cloak one of his footprints. You can drop leaves over it, erase it, and leave a pebble in its stead, or sculpt the earth until it resembles a hoof track. So I'm basically just kind of scrubbing it out.
You're covering your tracks.
On
Yeah.
his way,
Yeah.
the contract exchanges all of his footprints accordingly for the duration.
Okay. But that's just your footprints, right?
Oh, it is just mine, isn't it?
Yeah. But could help. You're all heading into this hedge maze, and you see how Lars is doing. Well, you don't even know his name right now, but you see how this small guy with these gaunt features is pricking his thumb and making this something. He's performing a contract. But most of you are running, I assume.
So
Yes.
I remember why I did this.
Yeah.
As a wizened, my footsteps leave traps in their wake.
Oh, I see. Silas, you see this deformed little man performing some kind of contract before he starts running as well. Are you gonna go after them?
Absolutely. When I land from the air, I land right next to the riverbank, sending up dirt and churning water and earth into the air around me. Seeing them enter the maze, I head after them in hot pursuit.
Yeah.
It's early stages yet, so let's see what kind of traps await me and if they can hold me back at all.
Sure. Let's do that. Which page is the contract on?
Never Tread is on page 144.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So, page 144, Never Tread. And
you'll want page 125 for the safe place merit traps.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's equal to your dexterity and safe place merit. So it's page 125. That's a lot of hitting up in books, but here we go. Safe place. So what's your dexterity?
4.
Okay. And so that means you get an initiative bonus equal to the 4 dots while inside. Any effort to breach the safe place suffers a penalty equal to the merit dots invested. If the character desires, the safe place can include traps that cause intruders lethal damage equal to the merit dots, or bashing damage equal to twice the merit dots. The traps may be avoided with a dexterity larceny roll, penalized by the safe place rating. It's gonna be tough, Silas. You know enough about contracts to know that if you head straight down this path, it's gonna hurt. Still up to you, though. What do you want to do?
Silas thinks about it, looks down at the path of the maze, and then holds up the little bit of wing in his hand from one of the escapees. And he decides, why go along the path that the prey thinks I should? And instead, he tests the wall and sees if he can just go right through it.
You tried to break through the hedge maze wall.
The hedge itself, yes.
Sure. Let's have you roll. That would be... Actually, that should probably... what would that be? Would it be athletics or would it be brawl? What do you think?
It's a little alive, so I would say it's like he's fighting with someone. Maybe it's a brawl, but it does damage to me as I pull away.
Yeah, absolutely. So roll your strength brawl, and I'm going to... Let's see. And what's your defense score? Let's see. I have your sheet, so I can just look that up right away. So let's see here.
I got 3 successes. One of them was a 10. So do I roll again?
Yep, you roll again, and you have 3 successes and any extra successes you get. If you get another 10, you can roll again. And that rhymes. You have...
Now it's 4 successes.
It's 4 successes. Nice. And I'm going to roll here to see. You take...
my defense, I think, is... let me check my sheet.
Yeah, your defense is 3. So... You don't actually take any damage. You manage to avoid the worst of the brambles. However, as you step through this hole, which was fairly close to where they entered, you realize they are nowhere to be seen. There's some hedge wizardry going on here because you pop out in the middle of this hedge. Walls around you, there's still a path, but your prey is not where you thought they would be. You might have to track them down anyway. And we're gonna leave you there for now and ask, let's go with Nova. What are you doing right now?
Well, as I'm looking, I realized that I do have some familiarity with this because I have hedge sense.
You have hedge sense.
And I'm gonna try now that I'm a little more focused now to see if I can maybe help us get out of here.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. What would that be? Let me see. Hedge sense.
On 115.
115. Perfect. I'm just gonna scroll through the book here quickly. Hedge sense. The character is especially skilled at finding her way in the hedge. Gain a 2-die bonus to all rolls to navigate the hedge and to find icons, food, shelter, and goblins from there. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to roll a wits survival with 2 extra dice from your hedge sense. Wits survival should be
7. Oh hell yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
This is a pretty good one for me.
Yeah. So you see how this moth-like person with these big red eyes, or are they glasses? We're not quite sure here. They kind of shift. It's like a hazy kind of blur. She's looking around, and she rolls 3 successes. You start heading down the hedge, and how do you navigate? Are you touching? Are you tasting?
I'm seeing and a little bit. I kind of release my antenna a little, and they can kind of feel a little, and I'm just going kind of by their sense.
Okay. The rest of you, do you follow?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. She seems to
I'm
know
not
where she's
waiting.
going.
I just went.
Yeah.
I just went.
Yeah. Jonas, did you say something?
I asked her, where are you going?
I was distracted. I'm just very focused.
So she's not replying. She's just going. With her little
Look at
antenna.
the other ones,
Yeah.
and if they seem to go after her, I'll follow as well.
Yeah. Seems that way.
Seems to know where they're going. All of the rest of this seems the same. I'm gonna follow.
So you follow Nova as she leads you through the maze, and it's not an overwhelming success, but you're making your way, and every now and then you hear sounds, and they are not human. They are the roar of the dragon circling in the sky, not diving down towards you, but keeping an eye on where you're going. And you see occasionally living statues enacting these ballroom dances in a big open space. And you see a small, low table filled with teacups and animals, stuffed animals, like taxidermied, sitting in chairs every now and then. And we're hearing something in the background. Silas, you're being told by your steed, your loyal dragon, it's telling you where they're going. What do you do?
I listened patiently to his words. Are they less than 10 yards away from me?
They are much further than 10 yards. They're halfway through the hedge already. Seems like it's playing tricks on you.
Okay, so they're already halfway through the hedge, and I think I have direction sense, so I should have some idea of where they are. Where I am.
Yeah, absolutely. You can pinpoint with the help of your steed and your natural understanding of directions. You can pinpoint the way they're going. You can just, now that you're in the hedge, you should be able to just go straight there through the brambles and the branches. It's going to hurt, but that's the fastest way to go.
Fast it is then. I get ready to charge again through the brambles, away from the traps that might have been set on the carefully manicured paths, and follow the sound of the dragon's voice as it tries to stalk my friend.
You move through the hedge, and it's fighting you. And as you move, the same kind of thing happens to you as was happening to the others. You get cuts, they don't stop you. Pieces of your rags are torn off, doesn't matter. You feel like... You remember that feeling you felt when you first met Mother, like something is falling off a shelf. You feel like that again, like the shelf has been torn down. And for a moment, you wonder why you're here. Why are you chasing these people? Where is Joan? Who's Joan? Do you remember
I
her?
suddenly halt, unable to process this new information, I vaguely remember an adorable little girl who nonetheless has the gumption to slide down the dirty hill.
Yeah.
If I had stronger mental faculty, I have strong resolve, but I used to be smart,
Yeah.
didn't I?
Pretty sure
Then
you
why
did.
aren't I smart enough to know what's going on now? I clutch my head and the images come in. The meteor. Where is the meteor?
It's not here. Maybe they must be going towards the meteor. You realize that's where they're going.
Yes. Yes. If I find them, I can ask them, where are they going? And with that, I start heading after them, but this time with less aggression and more of a question.
Yeah. And as this is going on, you guys make it to what you think is the exit of this hedge. And ahead of you, outside of the vaulted gate of this hedge, you see, to some of you, a familiar sight. It at first looks like a fence almost, but then you realize it's a forest, quite unlike the one you left through. This is a forest of birch trees, 5 feet apart, perfectly planted 5 feet apart. The floor, the forest floor, green with grass, but frosted white. And your breath comes out in these puffs of steam. There is a fountain in this little square that you've reached that's shooting up water. Tide, you recognize that it's a cheap imitation of the fountain you've gotten quite used to lately. And behind you, you hear someone tearing through the hedge. What do you do?
I run for the fountain and dip my hand into it. And I look at Nova and I go, "Do you know the way out of this place? Can you get everyone out of this place?"
I don't think so. I remembered the hedge, but I don't know if I know this place.
Okay. I can... I can make a wall of ice. I can try to block him off, do something else, but we gotta hurry out of here. It's not gonna hold.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
this
do it. You can do
fountain
it.
is
So,
just in the center of
I-
the forest.
Not really. I tell them to run. Just run. Run. I'll follow you. Run.
All right, I'm running.
Would follow her. I point to Nova. She seems to know where to go.
She's going with a little less direction than before, but still kind of stumbling that where we left that direction, still that direction.
All right.
You're heading out through the gate. Is everyone following, aside from Tide?
Absolutely.
I try to with my hand dipped in water, I try to, first I take it out and I wet my hair really quickly. And then I put it back into the fountain and I try to make all the water within it. I don't make exactly a wall because I figure he can go around it because it's like 5 meters between the trees. But I try to make it explode as far as it will go to cover the ground in ice.
Okay, you cover the ground of this small area in ice. Make it like
It doesn't go further than that.
How? No. I mean, you're in an open area with a fountain in the middle, and just over there is this. I'm echoing of someone, by the way. Just over there is a vaulted gate, just like the one you entered into the hedge, and past it, can you turn off your mic? Sorry, I'm echoing. And past it, you see these trees, the birch trees, 5 feet apart. But the vaulted gate itself is maybe 5 feet apart as well. But it's like this funnel-like entrance. This is the only way to get out of the hedge, unless you go through the hedge. So what are you covering in ice?
I try to cover as much of the area in ice then as possible to block the passage so that you would have to like carve through the ice in order to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Would that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So you
I just try to I try to do that like I think this is part of my blessing.
Mm-hmm. Your Kith blessing, yes. So you have to spend a point of glamour to do that. And what do you need? Do you need to roll something? I don't recall.
It says
I will. How about this? To ensure that you're covering it properly, I'm going to have you roll wits and crafts. I'm winging it here, but well, craft, you're pretty good at that.
Yeah, but okay. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, this is thinking on your feet. So
2 successes.
2 successes. 3.
I'm lying.
3 successes.
Because one was a 10,
Okay.
every roll. That's a 3.
Yeah. So what happens is that you coat the ground with ice. There's not enough water to make it a completely thick layer. There's gravel on the ground, so at places there's some small bits of gravel sticking up, but this is going to be very slippery. You don't have time to do any more because coming out of the hedge is, well, it's certainly the ogre that was chasing you, but he's not as big as he was before. He looks more human. And Silas, you see this blue-haired person just coating the ground ahead of you in ice. Looking scared? Looking angry?
Angry.
Angry, okay. There's this rage in their eyes. And the others are fleeing through this gate to the hedge. Out of the hedge.
I take a look at the wall. It's solid. I know I won't be able to just break through it like I did everything else. The ground is so slippery, I imagine that it would be a fool's errand to even set foot on it. So I only have one option left to come close to catching them.
Mm-hmm.
I start hopping up and down.
Mm-hmm.
I tell the air that I am the strongest and greatest of mother's children.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them that I need just a little push to get over this wall.
Okay. Tide, you're seeing this ogre jumping and calling out to the air to give him a push. What do you do? Do you run or do you stand?
I comb the fingers through my hair to get them wet, and then I draw a shape of a sword in the air in front of me, and like little droplets of ice kind of remain in the air as I trace my finger in it through it, and it's like a rough out shape. But when I'm done, I can close my eyes for a second and then just hold my arms, and the sword actually falls into my hands.
You got a nice sword.
Yes, and I hold it. And then I'm checking, is that enough? Do I still have the time to run, or is he...
As you're doing this, Silas, are you activating a contract?
I am. I activate 7 League Leap and get ready to jump through the air.
You're jumping through the air just as Tide is creating this sword. So there's going to be some kind of collision happening here. But before we deal with that, there's 4 more of you running through this forest of birch trees. And the ground is cracking beneath your feet. The grass is frozen with morning frost, you'd think. The sky is pale blue, and there is no sign of life besides these trees. What do you do?
The first thing I do, it's making me remember something, and I look up on the birch trees to see if there are any marks.
If there's any marks?
Yeah, are they just trees? Is there anything, maybe blood?
It's funny you would ask that because there is a spot of dark brownish red around the height of where, well, the torso of a Sasquatch would be, or the head of a human.
Yeah, I think Nova freaks out a little for a second. She's remembering stuff, and it didn't end well the first time she was in a birch forest like this, and she's a little confused.
And Lars, this tree, you recognize it. Last time you took a little bit of a nap against it. Your microphone is off, I think.
Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look around up higher in the trees around here, looking for a platform, familiar platform.
Platform up above the trees?
Higher up on the branch or higher up on the trunk of the trees. My deer stand.
You're looking for your deer stand. It's not here. But you think... Why don't you roll, actually... Let me see here. There's no perception anymore. Because this is Chronicles of Darkness. So what would be a good roll?
I think perception is resolve and composure, right?
I thought it was wits and awareness.
I think it's wits and awareness too. Wits is a very prominent stat.
Okay, wits and awareness.
Although I don't see an awareness thing here.
Yeah, there is no awareness.
Okay,
Oh, there's no
awareness.
There is no awareness.
Sure.
Tell you what, why don't we roll a wits and survival? Because we're playing Calvin Ball here.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, I should have read up the rules a bit more.
Oh, it's fine.
It's Arcadia. You can make up some rules in the hedge.
Yeah.
Okay, so wits and survival.
Survival.
Would be 4 dice.
Yeah.
What am I looking for?
6s and up.
8, right?
Yeah, 6s and
and
up.
up.
Yeah.
3 successes.
3 successes. Did you roll a 10?
No.
Okay. You recall that this deer stand that just suddenly popped up in your memory should be about 5 minutes that way.
Okay, then I'll point in that direction, and I'll say, we need to go this way.
Yeah. Jonas.
Where we are? Have you been here before?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jonas, you trust these people. You do? There's a nagging little voice in the back of your head going, isn't this exactly what they would have wanted? Sorry, there's a cat screaming in the background.
You can't hear him. It's okay.
Yeah. But we're not hearing you, Jonas. Are you talking?
No, I'm not talking.
Okay. There is a voice in the back of your head saying, maybe this is exactly what the beautiful face would have wanted you to do. And
try to give a quick look down again on my companions to see who they are. But yeah, let's go there now.
Okay.
And I stay at the group, but still keeping an eye backwards as well to see what's following us. If I see anything that.
You see Tide creating this sword out of ice as the ogre that's been chasing you is just leaping through the air, wind soaring through his hair as he's just heading towards a complete collision. And far above them, you see the purple dragon, the steed that the ogre was riding on, is diving towards you guys. Nate, what are you doing during this time?
Well, if there's a dragon sort of diving towards me now, I'm going to get ready for a fight. So I'm going to sort of brace for impact. Get my fists up,
Okay.
And hope to God this thing doesn't kill me.
It's heading straight towards you. Why don't you? Are you gonna punch it? Are you gonna punch the dragon?
Yeah, I'm gonna punch it real hard.
All right. While we're waiting to do that, let's go back to Silas and Tide. How about we do a quick and dirty opposed melee roll? Well, weapon with Tide. That would be Dex weapon, I believe. Let me go to the combat rules, which of course I forgot to bookmark. Let me see here. That would be over here.
If I have it written here and I'm using that kind of weapon, do I add another die?
Yes, if you have a specialty, you add another die. So
Okay.
I'm going to ask, let's see, a combat pool. That would be Dex, strength weaponry, actually, versus strength brawl for Silas. Because I'm assuming you're going to be using your fists for this.
This is gonna hurt, isn't it?
Who knows? Oh, wits and composure. Thanks for pointing that out. Sorry.
Oh boy. 2 successes.
And
Oh
Silas?
wait, 3. I
Oh.
didn't see this one.
Oh,
okay, 3.
okay. And Silas, you got...
Check the chat for a second, and I'll explain what I want. Because I need to narrate where I was doing first.
Okay. Oh, all right. I can't read our internal chat, though, because that would ruin the stream. Sorry.
Okay, I thought I would be keeping it secret, but okay, let me just
Sorry.
narrate what's happening.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. As I'm falling through the air,
Mm-hmm.
I have to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
With the power of the 7 leap, I could crush this fit. I could crush a Tide clear to the ground
Mm-hmm.
before she could even get her sword up. As I'm falling, I think over and over. But then who will tell me about home? And I decide to land on the ground next to her.
Mm-hmm.
I throw a great cloud of dirt into the air all around me. And then, as I hold up my hands to ask her the question, she swings her sword
Mhm.
and is completely unopposed in her attack.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Whoops. So that means you're going to be rolling damage, and that would be a weapon, and it's a sword. So let's see here. What kind of damage would that be? That would be a strength plus something, but I'm not seeing. Oh yeah, they're in the equipment section, of course. Little. Here we go. Flesh 2 solid. Services, ranged weapons, and sword. Sword. Spear, stake, chainsaw. It's not a chainsaw. Let me see. Hello. That's Wilma. She wants to play too.
She's coming to help, yeah.
Yeah.
Cat wants a chainsaw.
Yeah. Use the chainsaw. This is
No cats do the chainsaw.
She's just upset because we're in different rooms.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, she's a bit of a control freak. I don't see a sword, but I'm gonna, on a limb, go out and say this is roughly the same as a machete, unless you want a rapier. It's up to you. Is it more of a saber, or is it a rapier? Or is it a knife?
You're asking me?
Yes. Yes,
It's
I know.
supposed to be a proper sword, like
Okay.
I would imagine a German longsword or something.
Okay. Well, there isn't
like
any
a
stats for a German longsword.
No, one-handed sword.
So more of a machete then, I would wager. Because a rapier is more of a
Yes.
pointy poke weapon.
No,
Okay.
not a rapier, because it wouldn't be that kind of fighting.
No,
It
okay.
would be more like
This is damage too, so
slashing.
go ahead and roll. You rolled 3 successes?
3, yeah.
Okay, and that matches Silas's defense. completely. And he's not avoiding. So that would be your strength +2 dice you roll. And I know, Wilma. Are you guys hearing her?
We are.
Yeah,
Sorry.
she's very upset at me right now. Come here, baby. So strength +2 amount of dice, and each success would be a point of damage. I believe is how
Okay.
it works.
1, 2, 3. Whoa, 4 successes.
Ouch! Silas, do you have any armor?
Do I have any armor? It's
I'm thinking you.
technically as part of. I might have some armor as part of my mantle, but I don't know if I'd be given armor as in this setting. So
Probably
I imagine
not.
I'd be getting some, like
Yeah.
maybe. Would my skin count as the armor?
I'm gonna say you get armor 1 at the moment, so you take 3 lethal points of damage to your
Here's the thing
health.
with
Yeah.
with my summer with my mantle, I get another 3 points of extra armor on top of that.
But you don't actually have your mantle yet.
Okay, so
Sorry,
never mind.
sorry.
Just the 3 points of damage as
Yeah.
the sword sticks in.
Yeah. You have plenty of health, so you should still be doing okay. But
Can I
that
yell at
hurts.
him too?
Can you what?
Can I yell at him angrily too?
Absolutely. What do you want to yell?
So this creature, you actually can't tell which gender they are. Doesn't have any kind of bodily features that would tell one way or the other. Just kind of looks at you and goes like, "You are a slave. For shame. Go back to where you came from and let us be." It's just like, or you want more?
Alice feels oddly hurt. You see the creature frown at your words.
I got
He
more where
plucks
that
the-
came from.
He plucks the little sword from his flesh as a gout of blood pours from him and hands it back to you daintily so you can grasp the hilt. I am not the one who stabbed you, he points out as he gives the sword to you. It's a very odd sort of moment.
Well, I don't want to go back.
And you're faced, Silas, with the sudden realization that maybe you don't want to go back either. Or do you?
Back to what? He scratches his head.
To tending this garden, to fighting things off, to making ice sculptures that are never fine, that are never good enough. I hate this. This is not the life I want. I am a slave. I don't want to go back, and I will die if you take me. Before you take me, sorry.
Silas thinks this over, feels the flow of passion and genuine anger at her circumstance. Did he feel this angry about his work? What was he supposed to be doing again? He settles on saying, well, where will you go?
Anywhere that's not here. Somewhere where they can't find me. I'll find a place. I always find my place.
Silas nods slowly. That makes sense. Okay, let's go, I guess.
Wait, what? You're not gonna force me back?
Why would I do that? Why? What were we doing again?
So, Tide kind of like stops and kind of looks at him like,
And
if you're trying to fool me, this is. Are you joking? Are you trying to fool me? What's happening here?
And before Silas can answer, this shadow swoops down over both of you. And Silas, you realize that your dragon is going in for the kill. Nova, Jonas, Lars, you turn around to see how Nate, this half crystal, half, was it gold?
Yes.
Yeah, and the dragon is meowing loudly as it descends. The dragon is roaring, claws reach, and you're ready. You're entering your boxing pose, and I'd like you to roll Strength Brawl.
Fuck yeah, 6 dice. That is 4 successes. No 10s.
So the dragon swoops down and it's ready for the kill, and you can almost see the grin on its face. And you just give it a mean hook right on the side of the head. And only when your hand lands, your crystal fist lands, you realize you're not strong enough to stop the momentum of this creature.
Yeah.
So the dragon, like, its head twists to the side, and it obviously looks a bit hurt. It looks like he hurt it. It's just like this indentation in its face. And then the massive bulk just crashes down on you and just shoves you. These trees crack behind you as you're pushed. And I want you, and you take, let me see here, you take 3 points of bashing damage. That's the just diagonal lines as you're kind of thrown back. And the rest of you guys, I want you to make a dex athletics roll to kind of get out of the way of this crashing beast that's crashing to the ground.
My standard 3 successes.
3 successes again. Jonas managed to jump out of the way. Oh no! Tide, you don't have to worry. You're far out of the reach.
Okay.
But Nova got 1 success. Lars.
Okay, so 6 or better.
Mm-hmm.
Reroll 10s.
Mm-hmm.
Ones cancel out.
No.
successes.
Ones don't do anything in this system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the good part. That's a good part of the rule.
Okay, so 3 successes.
All right. So what happens is that both Jonas and Lars, you manage to throw yourself out of the way. Nova, unfortunately, you didn't expect things to go quite this way, and you're also hit, and you get 2 points of bashing damage as you kind of chucked aside, almost like a rag doll, as this massive scaled creature with a wingspan wide enough to, well, pretty much hit you along the side, and you're thrown to the ground.
Now, I do have lethal mean, so what does that mean for damage?
That means if you activate that... Oh, no, you have that as permanent. So you do...
It's just my hands.
Yeah, you roll... Don't you do lethal damage with your hands, right? Isn't that what
Yes.
lethal mean does? So roll damage. Strength plus... Does it say on lethal mean how much damage you add?
Here, I'll pull up the thing.
Okay. Let me see here. I should have really bookmarked this book before we started.
I mean, the character gets to choose whether the benefit of these claws, fingerprints.
Yes, Wilma, I know.
Lethal damage while unarmed. If another power.
It's very... Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's only just lethal damage.
Okay, so with fists, I'm going to...
I'm gonna go get her.
Yeah, okay. She is being a little bit of a shit right now. Sorry, she doesn't like it when we're talking with each other. Oh, not talking. Yeah.
I think that the rule is that, like, the successes is how much damage you do.
Oh yeah, you add the difference. When it's an opposed roll in this, you add the differences between successes, right? I believe that's the measure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I rolled a 4 and it rolled a 2, it would take 2 damage.
Yeah, I'm going to essentially say that you do no extra damage with your hands, but it is lethal damage. So go ahead and roll your strength plus 1 die. That's the difference between.
That is 2 successes.
2 successes, 2 points of lethal damage. So you kind of just tear off a lot of the scales that just go flying, and you draw blood from this dragon, which is, I mean, that's pretty impressive Let's be honest
Of
here.
course, then I proceed to get run over.
I mean, you punched dragon. Oh yeah, I'm getting some treats here. Thank you. So, Silas and Tide, your conversation is cut short, or at least interrupted by the crash and the loud cracks of breaking trees as the dragon crashes to the ground. What do you do?
So let me get this right. So Nova was crushed under the dragon. Is it correct?
Nova was hit to the side, and Nate.
I've been crushed.
Nate has been crushed.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
But you've barely seen this because this happened like behind you. Did you turn around to look, or are you still looking at the ogre?
I look at that and I'm like, that's yours. Fix it.
I mean, it is yours.
Right. Silas immediately nods his huge head and runs over the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing where it is just about buried Nate clean into the ground, he takes his great arms and starts to lift it, trying to pull the dragon clear off of Nate.
Mm-hmm. Roll. Oh, is anyone helping the ogre who's suddenly pulling the dragon off? Is anyone helping pull it off, or just like standing
I
back?
scooted back a little. I'm a little worried about the dragon that knocked me over, and I'm still cut with glass, so, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Are
been
there
a day.
any...
I'm gonna start like trying to find like a dark patch somewhere and just stand there and watch what's happening.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of melt into the background a little bit as you go incognito, as it were.
Are there any downed branches around here?
Oh, quite a few. Quite a few down branches.
Okay, so what Lars is going to do is he's going to grab like a decent sized chunk of pretty big ground, throw that on the ground, and then find a longer one, and he's going to make like a lever to jam onto the dragon
Yeah.
and try and pick it up.
Yeah. The dragon is a little bit, I wouldn't say knocked out, but it's definitely confused and has momentarily forgotten that it can fly. So it's like wiggling around. And I would like then, I'm going to say that you get a +2 to your strength athletics roll, Lars. And Silas, go ahead and roll strength athletics. And Nate, I assume you're also going to try to push this monstrosity off of you.
Can I come and help too once I see he's actually going to fix it?
Yeah, sure. So roll strength athletics. That's one success.
Success.
Yeah. So 1.
That's 3 successes after a roll again.
Okay, so 4 and another 3. That's 7 and 10 successes. With your powers combined, you lift the dragon off or push it off. It's a huge beast, and it's roaring and it's lashing with its tail and wings and screeching. Silas, you've never seen it this wild before. It's always been, fierce, but it's like this is a completely different creature. It seems almost wildened by where it is at. Like you're not sure it would obey you if you told it what to do.
Well, as I always say, if something's not obeying you, you smack it until it does.
All right.
Oh, I was gonna do that for you. I'm gonna immediately start trying to beat this thing's head in.
All right, go right ahead. Start smacking it out. Silas, you go first, then Nate. Anyone else joining in with a beatdown?
Lars backs away.
I mean, punching a dragon, what's the worst thing that could happen?
Nova's good at watching. She's just gonna watch this.
No, Nova's good over here.
Yeah, Tide also like stands back, like, oh.
You are not gonna believe this. I got 7 successes.
I believe you. 7 successes. All right.
That's more than I have dice.
I'm going to roll.
Holy shit.
I'm gonna roll the post.
6 successes.
Yeah. Okay, I got. That's 3 successes for the dragon. So, Silas, You get +4 to your strength with pummeling. Oh my god! And
Fucking 6.
you got 6 successes. Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
I got. Did
Out
I
of
get
6
Yeah.
dice.
Oh my god, that's crazy. I love it. So roll your strength +3, right? Did I say 3 successes? I think I got. Yeah. So strength +3 for Nate, and strength +4 for Silas. You guys are gonna kill this dragon.
+1. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, +1. And
Strength
yeah,
+3. Oh wait, well, then that's 6 dice.
yeah.
I feel kind of
so
bad.
That's a crit. So I can add another one.
Oh boy.
Oh, if you get a crit and then another crit.
Yeah, you roll again. You roll again.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
dragon
no
was just
success
doing
there.
dragon stuff.
Yeah.
5 successes. So
It's okay. Yeah, that's causing some damage right there.
I got 4 successes and 2 roll
Yeah.
against.
Yeah. You pummel the dragon into the ground, and you're not sure how much damage you're causing to it because, I mean, let's be honest, it's a dragon. You're definitely not crushing any bones or like breaking things off, but it kind of just stops moving after a little while.
Silas nods in satisfaction. This has happened before.
Yeah.
Yes, it seems like his bike is sometimes defiant, sometimes has its own ideas, so you smack it in the head until it goes to sleep.
Yeah.
That much he does remember.
Yeah. You oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm gonna like give it like a kick as I get off of it. Just
One last
one last little kick to rub
yeah.
it in.
Yeah, it just kind of shudders. It probably hurts your foot more than it hurt the dragon, but
Yeah. to be
you
fair.
get that kick in. You're the rest of you, as you are watching this brutal beatdown, the beatdown of the century of this dragon, make a wits composure roll, please.
Oh boy. Three successes.
3 successes.
And should I make a roll as well?
No, just the ones that weren't
Okay,
beating it up.
just
Okay,
the
so
reserve range,
okay,
okay.
so 4 and 4 from Jonas and 4. Okay, so all 4 of you notice in the distance as you're watching this pummeling, you can't help but notice there is a big rock moving slowly further through the forest. It's kind of like it's almost waddling, so maybe it's not a rock, but it's like minding its own business in the distance, maybe 60 yards away, maybe a bit more.
Coming towards us?
Nope. Just rolling or moving, however you'd call it. It's kind of hard to make out what it is because the trees, surprisingly, considering they're in like a 5 feet apart, but they're diagonal, so they cover quite a lot actually in the distance.
Do I see like that the other seems to have noticed this as well? Or...
Yeah. You look around, you see, yeah, the rest of them have seen this as well.
And I just stay still and quiet and stay in my dark place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna see if can I get a little closer and get a better look?
you can certainly move closer.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay. You had. Is anyone else going there?
She's going towards this moving thing.
This moving thing, yeah. It's pretty
I will
big.
go.
You're going there too.
Yep.
Tide?
I'm kind of like, you, what? Still looks like at the dragon and then the ogre, then like.
What could be worse than a dragon?
Not gonna question it at this point.
Yeah.
Looks over to the rock.
It's kind of gleaming brownish now that you look at it. Like it catches some light reflection. That's weird for a rock.
I keep going. I'm not waiting for anybody. I'm just trying to get a little closer.
So Nova, you're the first to realize what this is, and it is a beetle, and it is a beetle the size of well, it's definitely bigger than you are, and it has this kind of horn, and it's got these beady little eyes, and it's looking over at you, and then just keeps going.
I'm gonna call out to it. I'm like, hey, over here.
It doesn't seem to care much. The rest of you catch up to Nova.
He doesn't talk much.
I turn to the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, that's all I had. It doesn't talk much.
I just wanted to say, I look at the ogre and go like, okay, I'll take you helping, you actually doing and fixing the thing and like beating the dragon down. It's a truce, but for now, okay? And it tries to look like menacing, and it's like, nowhere near to hide.
How fast is this beetle moving?
Right now is moving pretty slow, but those legs are as thick as trunks. They could probably move pretty fast. Actually, Lars, you've seen one of these before, you realize.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen them all over the piles, as they're called.
Yep.
People have been riding them, herding them, eating them occasionally. This one seems pretty far away from where they usually roam.
We should get on this and ride it out of here. That's what Lars was saying to everybody. Climb on top. Let's let it do the work. Let it get us out of here.
As comes out from the shadows, can you control it, or do it just take us where it wants, or can we control it?
Well, it seems to be going in the general direction we want to go, so I don't know that we need to control it. I don't know that I can speak with it, but I can try.
Yeah.
Well, we can hop off if it's not going the right direction or something, I guess.
Even know a right direction as of now?
That way. And I'll point in the direction that I feel is the right way, based on my early...
Yeah. Silas and Nate, by this time you've noticed the others have left for what looks like a large moving boulder in the distance.
Well, I might as well not get left behind, so I guess here we go.
Yeah. You head towards it. Silas, you too?
Silas briefly wonders why everyone is chasing a rock, but, well, it's the rule of peer pressure. When everyone does something, you have to go along with it.
Yeah. So you head over and you two realize that this is one big bug. It's a giant beetle. Seems docile enough, and seems like Lars knows what it is.
Okay. No time like the present. I'm just like, well,
come on, everybody up. Let's go.
I'm getting on.
For a second,
you hurt?
Nova tries to fly just to get on it, and her shoulders are just moving, and she gets a little sad.
Yeah, there's no flying anymore. Silas, you're still holding on to this wing, by the way. Are you still holding on to this piece of gossamer wing?
Silas looks into his hand at the gossamer wing and realizes, oh yes, I was holding on to that. Despite the fact that he just beat a dragon senseless, despite the fact that he's torn apart brambles and half a hedge maze besides, the wing is still in good condition, though bloodstained from where his hand grazed his own injury. He cradles the wing and starts running after the group.
Okay, you start running after. Did you show the wing to... Are you showing it off or just holding on to it? I didn't catch that.
Holding on to it for now.
Okay.
I'm just holding on to it.
Yeah. You climb up on the beetle, and honestly, Lars, you know this kind of beast well enough that as soon as people start climbing up on it, it just stops, kind of glances over its shoulder. And if it was a cow, you're pretty sure it would be chewing on some grass and just having the usual cow time of its life. You just, once you're all up on it, it just walks on. You're leaving the dragon behind you, and
I'm trying to like get a good read of Lars, like just seeing what is he like, some acting suspicious, or is he anything? Are they do he seem like secret glances towards the others? Just something, just
very suspicious.
Very carefully.
Lars would at this point seem probably more interested in the beetle and making it go faster than anything else.
Yeah. Okay. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I'm currently on the lookout for any kind of container.
Container?
Does anybody have a bag or a box or anything on their person?
I had a bag before. I don't know if it's come back.
Silas says, yes, I have a bag. He immediately hands over a ragged bag. One whiff of whatever brown goo is inside is so noxious that only the truly dedicated would ever consider using this bag for anything.
It's your lunch bag, right?
I'll take you. It's my lunch package.
Oh, sorry, your lunch package.
It was very carefully packed by Mother in case I got hungry.
Mother loves you.
I'm going to be activating a contract of mine called Discreet Summons. And I am going to, from the bag, pull out a handgun.
Oh.
Yeah, you can. It's any size 1 object.
Yeah. Suddenly, there's a handgun, 9mm Beretta in Nate's hand.
If anybody else comes after us, now we have this.
Certainly seems to be. I mean, are you testing it, or are you confident
I'm not
in it?
Scaring the beetle.
Okay,
I'll check the chamber, but I won't.
Yeah, it's full. It's fully loaded. There's a bullet in the chamber.
Does anybody know? Is anybody any good with this? Because I know I'm not.
And you think that will hurt a dragon?
I think that. I mean, if somebody like him, I'm gonna point to the ogre. Someone like him comes after us, then I'm just hoping it'll do something.
Okay.
Hey, the ogre says, clearly disappointed. I'm a guy like me.
Yeah. Lars has
you are.
firearms, but he should probably focus on the beetle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
I'm
sorry, Jonas. We didn't
cut
catch you.
Right.
Oh, sorry, Jonas. We didn't hear that.
When things start to like it's gonna to Lars. It's just gonna.
It's cutting off a little bit. Do you think you can lower? Maybe are you on push to talk or voice recognition?
I am on push to talk.
Okay. Because you were cutting off a little bit there. Could you repeat?
I'll try it again.
Yeah. Okay.
Jonas go like scooch ahead to Lars and just.
You cut off again.
Lars, I think.
Think?
It's been time. I don't remember how much.
Is beetle taking us?
Home, I think. Or that's where I want it to take us. Yes. My family. A town. stream. Small.
Going to
Littlebrook.
Littlebrook?
Littlebrook, yes.
Nova looks up when she hears Littlebrook. That sounds familiar.
You've heard of it too?
I think so. It's as familiar as the hedge was, so maybe?
Silas frowns as he hears all this. He thinks over home to mother? But for once in a very long time, the word mother is followed by a question mark. Now he hears home and Littlebrook, and just says the word in a slow, rumbling voice. Littlebrook. And with that, it seems that his decision is made.
Do any of you guys know exactly how long that we've been there? In the garden?
A while?
Yeah,
What
I figured,
garden?
but
What garden?
I was in the
Winter was
garden.
yeah.
I wasn't in a garden.
Well, wherever you were captive. Does anybody have any idea how long they've been there?
Forever.
Even if you counted the winters in the garden, that means nothing, because winter was every time they wanted it to be.
I
Couldn't have
suppose.
been that long. I mean, I'm not old or anything. Right?
I don't know.
Old.
I just met you. I don't think I've seen you before.
Do I look like him?
I can't tell.
There's.
Do I look like him? And
Oh,
I'll point
sorry.
at Nate.
No, sorry.
We don't all look like him, do we?
Like
I don't
me?
think I looked like that before.
You're all looking almost human. There are some features, some of you more than others, of course. Nate looks still very crystal-like, but some of you, there's just some features, some small features that make you seem not human. The word human itself is something you would have not usually used to describe yourselves, but now it's almost a comforting word. It's definitely not fey.
So been a while since I've seen this, I think. That I know.
Human. I look at my hands. They're big, but nowhere near as big as they were. Not weathered and rough, full of this strange, thick skin. I flex them experimentally. The hands are meaty, yes, but not like a monster's hands. I look at the others. I look to Lars. You look familiar.
Okay. From before? Like before?
From before, yes. I'm Silas.
Lars,
I don't recognize the name.
If you do, you want to try to remember?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you what. There weren't that many kids in Littlebrook. Well, there were a few, but Silas, you've heard that name a few times. Might have even met his dad.
You were missing, but they found you.
Yeah.
You mean Mother found me? Barnabas found me?
No. Henry or something like that was his name, I think.
Henry.
Maybe? He would kind of scratch his head like he's trying to almost pull it out, and you see that his fingers are looking more human, but they still seem to have too many knuckles. Silas, you were missing, and then you came back. You were in the woods or something. It's fuzzy. So fuzzy.
Jonas, you've never once heard the beautiful face mention Littlebrook. In fact, anytime you mentioned it, you would be very, very punished for it.
Say again, which two?
Littlebrook.
Littlebrook.
Home.
And as you're riding this giant beetle, you suddenly spot this wooden platform amongst the trees. And it's old, and it's rotted through. There's quite a few steps missing from it. And a few planks have broken at the top. It's certainly not something you would climb atop now. And at the base of it, there are some broken cans, like some old rusted beer cans, some empty cigarette packages. There's a couple of magazines. They're so faded you can't make out what they are.
Lars would hop down and run over to that.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of dig through it. There's something here. He knows there's something here.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. Sorry?
No. So you just hopped off the
beetle.
Oh, wait. I try to pet the beetle and like tap it like wait. Can you wait?
It stops. Kind of looks up at you like and
oh, it listens. It understands us. I try to pet it.
it might like it. You've never pet a giant beetle before. The surface feels kind of like touching. It feels kind of like touching glass almost.
That's cool. That's kind of like ice. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. I stay on the beetle though. Like I'm sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Jonas is like stiffening up when he sees Lars jumping off the beetle and keeps watching him very carefully when he's rummaging about in the.
Yeah.
I'll hop down as well. Just take up the rear.
Yeah.
You find anything useful in the pile?
You find there's a lot of things here. There's quite a lot of different items, but what you do find is a small item. Fits in the palm of your hand, and it's rusted. It has a little lid on it, but it's rusted shut.
The lid won't open?
Not if you just try to open it like this.
I'm gonna try to rub some of the rust off of it.
Yeah, it's familiar. And
I know this.
Yeah, it should show you the way. You think
This is mine from before.
Yeah.
We're on the right path.
Yeah. But do you try to break it open, or?
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't take too much effort to crack the lid open, and you see this dusty, scratched glass surface, and underneath it you see the little red arrow, and it's pointing away from the direction you came.
Okay. Pointing the direction we came from.
No, pointing ahead, basically.
Oh, ahead.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, I think we're going the right way.
Yeah.
Let me. It's a compass.
It's there.
It's my compass. And
I heard that word before. What's a compass?
he'll point up and he'll say, "This is where I was when I was taken."
Nova, you recognize this place too. Oh, sorry, Jonas.
This plate?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is where I was, and then I wasn't. And I was somewhere else.
Jonas, you realize you've been to this place as well a few times, but this is not where you were taken, but you recognize it too. Just something about this clearing. There's something about Tide. You can't really place it, but they're more familiar to you than the other four.
Turn to Tide. Are you also from?
From? I'm not hearing you. I'm sorry.
Also
Is it
from
just me?
Littlebrook.
Yeah.
Huh. I think so. It does sound familiar, but I tried to. Does it ring any bell? Is it?
You've heard the word home being thrown around a lot, and you recognize Littlebrook, but for you, it doesn't have the same ring to it. It feels almost like an empty word, Littlebrook. It doesn't initially create any kind of sensation inside of you when you hear it. But the voice coming from this faceless figure is familiar to you. And it reminds you of why you came here. You can't place it. There's something about that voice.
I don't know of Littlebrook. I mean, I've heard of it. I definitely heard of it before, but that's it. You're.
I mean, I know Littlebrook, if that's what you're wondering.
It's everyone here knows Littlebrook. Is it someone who's not from here, not have heard of it before?
I have a question.
Yes,
Littlebrook is a person or a place?
it's a town.
Place.
Okay.
It does sound familiar now that you think about it, but I can't place it.
So while they're talking, Lars wants to take a handful of dirt,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to put it in the palm of his hand, and he's going to spit in it and rub it around. And I'm going to spend a glamour and activate Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to find a gate.
Mm-hmm.
A gate out of the hedge.
Yeah. You activate this ability, and the soil in your hand kind of just twists and turns and creates this little arrow in the palm of your hand that's pointing exactly the same direction as the compass is pointing.
Okay, just wanted to verify that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's right. We need to go that way.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Everybody back on the bug.
Yep. Hopping right back on.
Just at the slightest bit of movement from you, Lars, it kind of shifts the arrow. The kind of reactions you'd get when you were fairly close to your objective, as it were. Like, if you were far away, it would shift slightly, but now if you just take a few steps to the left or right, you just whoop, the arrow kind of adjusts in a direction.
We're very close. We should go. We're very close.
And you spot these two trees, and they're birch trees, just like everything else, but they've grown together and have created this natural kind of gate-looking opening between them. They're old, and one of them looks very damaged. The black that you usually see spotty on a birch tree is almost covering the entire surface, and the other one has almost no cuts in it as you look at them. It's almost completely white. So it's a white tree and a black tree, and they've grown together into this gate.
Through those. And I'll try to kick the beetle into going.
Mm-hmm. The beetle walks towards this gate, but when you get closer, it just stops and kind of just shakes its head a little bit.
It
Okay.
can't go.
Yeah.
We have to leave it here.
And suddenly, you hear a massive roar behind you.
Now, go.
I
Yeah.
roll right off the beetle and start
Yeah.
heading towards the gate.
It's the dragon coming.
Dead sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting through that fucking
Yeah.
I'm sprinting as well.
so
Yeah.
soon.
You're running towards the gate, and as you get closer, it just blackness just bursts like a tear in reality in front of you, and you see this long tunnel, and at the end of it, there's some light, but you can't really tell what it is.
Anything's better than that dragon.
Yeah, look back
Yep.
at the dragon,
Yeah.
look at the scary dark light, and
Yeah.
I know the dragon,
Yeah.
so
And the dragon is actually like you can see one of its wings is a little bit hurt almost, and it's like crawling towards you on the ground, just flapping its wings, trying to get off the ground, but it's too heavy. It can't get enough air here, so it's like climbing towards you on the ground. It's like fire in its eyes.
oh nope. Just and I'm looking back. I'm just going forward. I'm so small.
You're
Not looking
running.
back, just
Yeah,
running.
you're running into this tunnel. All of you. Is there anyone standing behind?
Do I have enough time to hug the leg of the beetle before I
Oh yeah,
run?
the beetle looks like it's ready to bolt basically, but you get a little hug in before it just yeets out of there. Yeah,
I still have my sword out, by the way. I run after
yeah,
him.
but this dragon is just heading towards you. You head into this tunnel, complete darkness enveloping you, and you run and you run and you run, and then you're out. And the air hits you. It's cold. It's so cold. Your breath comes out into this bursts of white mist, and it's so bright, and you realize it's coming from this street light, and you're on a road. It's asphalt, and you look behind you, and you realize you come out of this wooden covered bridge, the old kind of bridges that go across a river, and you hear the sound of a river running beneath it. And you see this small building ahead of you, maybe 30, 40 yards, and there's lights in it, and there's a sign, a neon light sign, and it says Jones. And it says beneath it, another sign is hanging. It says open. There's no snow on the ground. The grass is green. Yeah.
I burst out laughing. Well, that was easy. Guys, it's Joan. She was the one I was looking for. It's right there. I was thinking, how are we gonna find her? Jones.
I guess.
Oh, that's great. That's perfect. The great dark man just looks incredibly contented as he considers the diner ahead of him.
It is a diner.
Was he pointing with a wing in his hand?
No, I was using my right hand. The wing's in my left hand.
Okay.
And you see further ahead, you see all these little dots of lights. And the road kind of goes up a hill, and you see a dot of light here, a dot of light there. There's got to be hundreds of lights. And you recognize one of these buildings. You're on the main street. This is Littlebrook Main Street.
Hey, Lars?
Yes.
Lars? Wait a minute. Wasn't that diner called Louis? And where'd all these buildings come from?
I don't know.
Yeah, this is Louis. That strikes a chord. You remember that name.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Louis was my friend.
Right. And Joan was his daughter. Did something happen to Louis? A note of fear raises in the ogre's voice.
Louis was there. No, he wasn't. Louis wasn't there. Louis was
there. He owned the place. He built the place, more or less.
Yes, but he wasn't there when I
No.
got taken.
No.
But he was there. But he wasn't there. Louis was my friend.
It's open. Why don't you go ask?
Yeah. You know what? Not only am I going to ask, I'll ask Joan if she can get us some food. She'll get us some food, guys. It's great. It'll be good. They have some. You guys like waffles? They got waffles here.
All right. I'm gonna tuck the pistol in my waistband as to not scare anybody.
I assemble my sword.
Yeah, it just dissolves into a pool of water that drips from your hands.
I dissolve it over my hair.
Yeah, it soaks into your hair.
Sorry.
I hastily stuff the wing into a pocket and walk into the diner with relative confidence, even though it briefly occurs to me that I have no money and my clothes barely stand to be called the word.
Yeah, sorry.
I have some money, and I'll pull like a wad of crumpled bills out of my pocket.
I mean, they look old, but they're still valid money. All these memories are flooding back into your minds, but there are missing parts. There are birthdays clear as day, but then there are anniversaries, there are wedding days, there are funerals that are missing, there are patches of weeks just gone, and you know these days are missing because it's like your old life is playing back through your minds, and for a moment you're kind of like just taken back by all this, and the realization grows within you that you're actually free. You made it out. You're no longer in Arcadia. You're not in the hedge. This is Littlebrook. This is the human world. This is where you lived. This is where you grew up. This is where some of you might even have had children.
I have to find my wife.
Yeah.
I need to go. I've been here before. I know this place as well. find some people.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll just go inside.
Yeah.
We'll go inside the diner, get to a payphone, call some people. Just get to a payphone,
yeah.
call some
Good
people.
idea.
Tide.
I don't want food though because I feel kind of nauseous. There's a lot going on through my head. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Tide,
Oh,
you
it's okay,
recognize
it's okay.
the voice of
I
the
know
faceless
your
one.
voice.
It's your brother. The one you went looking for.
You were. Where? How?
Everyone said he'd just gone missing for a few hours, but you knew it wasn't your brother.
I know.
Jonas,
I.
it's Sarah.
You were gone and you came back and you were so I knew something was wrong. I thought I thought I messed up because then all this weird shit started happening, but at the same time it felt like proof. And I knew I was right. It's you, right? What happened to your face?
My face. It was. He touches his face.
There's nothing there.
I have.
You're dropping out. There's something going on with your connection.
This is. I'm no face. Who? Away too? Who here? Be here? At home? Why are you here?
Why are you here?
You here?
I went looking for you. You weren't coming home. I was gonna go look. You said you were gonna go. And then I knew you were talking about the woods, and I knew something was wrong. And I when you didn't come back, right? I knew, and I wanted to go look where. This is all Sorry, I'm talking like really jumbled. It doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't matter about your face. I'm just glad you're here.
And that's when you hear the roar of the dragon. And you turn around to look, and you see how it comes out of the same wooden bridge that you did. And it just rears back, roars, flaps its wings, and just flies into the sky, into the night.
No.
And you see its silhouette briefly against the moon before it vanishes into the mountainside.
That's not good.
That's
Lars
really bad.
Lars spins and points at Silas. Your fault. You brought it after us.
Look,
Mother asked me to bring you home for dinner? Silas looks at the dragon, the animal that was once his trusted companion, his means of conveyance, his hound for hunting, has just vanished into the mountainside, and it has never seemed more strange or more alien.
Yeah.
He looks around the street. Did anyone else see the dragon just hurtle off into the sky?
yeah. Look, Lars, it's not Silas's fault that his dragon's here. We were all forced to do things we didn't want to back there. It's a new slate from here on out, okay?
There, I don't understand what happened? You know this better than I do. I don't understand. bit much right now. I need to go home. I really want just to go home.
There's another sound from behind of you, and it's a drumming kind of noise. And you realize you're standing in the middle of the road, and you see two bright spots of light heading towards you from the tunnel.
Oh,
Get out of the road.
get out of the road.
Yeah.
The road.
You all get out of the road, and you see this car drive past you. And for most of you, you've never seen a model like this. It looks like something from the future. It's almost, actually, now that you realize it, it's so quiet. And as the car drives past, it illuminates a sign, a street sign that you didn't notice before. And it says, "Welcome to Littlebrook, home of the Blackbirds." And that's where we're going to end today's session.
All right.
Sweet. That was an amazing session, guys. Great work. I love
Yeah,
it.
great work, everyone. Very impressed.
Thank you for the game.
Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone at home, for watching. We're going to try to upload this episode in about a week. And we're very happy that you wanted to join us for this very first session of Changeling the Lost. And we're going to be playing every Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. EST. And if you have any questions to the players or to me, just poke us at the social medias we have. Or if it's for someone who hasn't their social media here, you just send it our way and we'll make sure people get them. So, welcome
Bye for
home.
now, everyone. Thanks for
Welcome
showing
home.
up.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye, people.
Take care.
Bye.